Welcome back to Dan Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain the movie No Surrender, No Retreat, released in the year 1985. At the beginning of the film, we meet Tom Stillwell, a karate teacher with his dojo in Los Angeles, California, where he teaches the martial art to youngsters, including his own son Jason. Tom is then approached by a group of gangsters who are planning to take over all the dojos in the country and asks him to join their organization. This refusal does not go over well and angers the leader, who orders his subordinates to beat him up. Although Tom believes karate should never be used for violence, he tries to fight back while his students watch. However, Tom quickly gets his leg broken by one of the gang members, Ivan Krasinski. Enraged, Jason tries to hit Ivan, but is instantly subdued before the gang leaves the dojo. Jason, still angry, intends to seek revenge, but his father tells him that fighting is not always the answer. Later, while having his injury treated at the hospital, Tom realizes he might not be able to stand up against the gang for long and decides to move his family away so they will not be at risk. The family decides to relocate to Seattle, where Jason meets a guy named RJ Madison, who instantly befriends him as he helps him unload the family stuff. Being a true Bruce Lee fanatic, Jason sets up the garage by hanging multiple posters of the icon along with his training gear, while RJ shows off his dancing skills. Although they have only just moved into their new house, Jason starts practicing his karate already because he aims to become just like Bruce Lee one day. Meanwhile, another boy, Scott, picks a fight with RJ for befriending Jason, but RJ dodges him before running away. Next, RJ joins Jason in his driveway and takes him to visit Bruce Lee's grave, where Jason pays his respects to the idol and asks him to bestow him with the courage to stand up for what he believes is right. Later, we once again see RJ being bullied by Scott and his friends, but this time, Jason intervenes and saves his friend. However, as soon as he returns home, Tom scolds him for getting involved in the fight because he thinks this can get him into trouble. He tries to convince his father he only did it to save his friend, but storms out in frustration when Tom does not believe him. One day, as RJ and Jason are watching the national championship final on TV, a guy from Seattle, Ian Riley, wins the tournament. RJ reveals Riley's dojo is nearby and promises to take Jason there with him. The next day, the pair visit the dojo and Jason fills out an application to join. Sensei Dean Ramsey introduces himself as his instructor and shows him around before asking Jason to get ready for class. While Jason is gearing up, Scott tells Dean that Jason beat him in a fight and mocked the Seattle karate scene. Believing his claims, Dean prepares his other student Frank to pick a fight with Jason once he joins the class. After being challenged, Jason reluctantly begins the fight, but being an average karate student himself, he does not stand a chance. When things go too far, RJ intervenes, saving him from Frank and giving him just enough time to run away from the club while everyone laughs at them. A few days later, there is a birthday party for Riley's sister Kelly. Dean constantly tries to hit on her, but she is not interested in him at all. Riley comes back from the championship and wishes his sister a happy birthday before being called inside the house for a phone call. On the phone, someone tells him to quickly come to his dojo if he wants to save it. As he rushes outside, Riley bumps into Jason, who is just arriving at the party. It turns out Jason had met Kelly in LA and brought her a cute little rabbit as her birthday present. As Jason kisses Kelly, Dean gets angry and intends to hit Jason, but Scott calms him down, explaining he's got another plan. Meanwhile, it is revealed the same gang who had threatened Tom and Jason in LA is now at Riley's dojo demanding they hand it over as well. When they refuse, the leader threatens to hurt his sister and tells him they will take it over even if he does not agree. Back at the party, as Kelly introduces Jason to her friends, Dean intervenes and kisses her in front of everyone, pretending to be her boyfriend. After her friends take her away, Dean confronts Jason, warning him to stay away from her because he does not want her to go out with anyone but him. As they argue, Scott once again starts teasing him while Dean strikes him to force him to leave. Frustrated, Jason also argues with Kelly when she comes outside to talk to him, and he leaves the party. Jason then goes back to visit Bruce Lee's grave and explains that everyone is trying to bully him and asks for his icon's help. But as he returns home, Jason finds his father already waiting for him to talk about all the complaints he has been getting about his son's fights. The two get into another heated argument, but Jason calls him a coward for moving out instead of standing up to the gangsters. Angry and hurt by these words, Tom trashes the garage and destroys Bruce Lee's pictures and then leaves the house in frustration. Jason next arrives at RJ's house, who after learning about the garage, tells him about an abandoned house where he can move his stuff. After they settle Jason's training gear into the house, Jason thanks RJ for always being there for him. RJ leaves while Jason passes out on the floor from exhaustion. But then, Jason is awakened by Bruce Lee's ghost, who tells him he came at his request. The ghost of Bruce Lee offers to train him, with the first lesson to be mentally strong if he wants to defeat his enemies. However, Bruce Lee presents a condition that Jason will only use the fighting for his own defense and not to hurt others. After examining Jason's moves, Sensei Lee shows him his own fighting skills while advising him that he must keep the element of surprise to have an edge over his opponents. Starting the next morning, Jason begins his training under Lee's supervision, who urges him to be spontaneous and stay focused if he wants to improve his techniques. Although he gets hurt multiple times, Jason is not ready to give up. Sensei Lee also teaches him to empty his thoughts while training and be aware of his enemy's moves so he can react immediately. As Jason continues to learn from Sensei Lee, RJ also helps out with the training. Meanwhile, Tom, who now works at a local restaurant, is teased by an arrogant customer. Although Tom initially tries to keep his calm, he throws him out of the restaurant when he crosses the line. Over time, as Jason becomes an expert in his skill, Bruce Lee suddenly decides his job is done and disappears. Although upset with his unannounced departure, Jason tries to stay focused on his training and gradually keeps improving while RJ stays by his side. One day, as Jason and his mom return home after doing groceries, she asks him to pick up his dad from work. As Jason arrives, the same customer comes to the restaurant with his friends and starts beating Tom, but Jason arrives just in time to save his father. Now with his new and improved fighting skills, Jason beats them all easily and forces them to leave. That's when Jason tells his dad there are times when fighting is necessary, and Tom realizes his son was right all along, and the two settle things between them. Later, Jason and RJ attend a party at a club where they spot Kelly, but Jason does not want to talk to her. RJ decides to intervene to give them a chance, and with the help of his friends, they bring Jason and Kelly to the dance floor so they can talk. Jason apologizes to her for being rude at her party, and they patch things up. A few days later, the gang leader and his team arrive to take over the dojos in Seattle after the annual full-contact kickboxing event. In the tournament, the visiting Manhattan Maulers prepare to fight the home team, the Seattle Sidekicks. After a formal introduction of both teams, as the organizers intend to begin the competition, the mob leader takes the stage and announces they have changed their lineup, announcing Ivan Krasinski will fight all of Seattle's fighters. Jason, Tom, and RJ also arrive at the arena and instantly recognize Ivan as the one who broke the father's leg. Already familiar with his strength, Jason tries to warn Riley and his team, but they are confident they can take him down and ignore his warning. The first round begins and Dean joins the ring but is quickly knocked down by Ivan, throwing him out of the ring and winning the first round. Frank, who fought with Jason earlier in the dojo, is up for the second game but is also easily defeated by Ivan. The mob leader then makes a surprise announcement that although they have already won the initial 2 games, whoever wins the third round will be the winner of the entire tournament. For the final round, Riley goes up against Ivan. Being the national champion himself, Riley puts up a great fight, causing Ivan to break the rules and use illegal tactics to win. Ivan starts gaining an edge on Riley and traps him between the ropes. Then Kelly rushes in to save her brother, but Ivan grabs her by the hair. This makes Jason very angry, and he rushes to the ring and starts beating on Ivan, gaining applause from the audience. Remembering the lessons he had learned from Sensei Lee, Jason defeats Ivan. Everyone gets to their feet to cheer for Jason for standing up to the gang. In the end, the gang is forced to leave Seattle while the crowd celebrates Jason's victory. That was all from the video. Subscribe for more content like this and leave a like to help the channel out. Also, leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Take care.